I think it's pretty good, but what do you reckon? Well, G'day friends, how's it going? Welcome back to Sam's Home Kitchen, where I bring to you budget-friendly recipes with sustainability in mind. We're doing another one-pot meal today, one of my favorite. Continuing the same theme as what we did last video, we're going to do one of those classic Aussie meals my wife ate growing up, which is Tuna Mornay. It's packed with protein, calcium, and we're going to throw in a fair good amount of vegetables in there as well to bulk it up, but at the same time make it a little bit healthier. And I'll find out from the wife if this is a winner or it's one of those things that my mum made it better. So to start us off, we've got a few veggies to cut, so always make sure we got sharp knives. Veggies, I would recommend obviously whatever's in season. Carrots are always cheap. Zucchini, onions and garlic, and I got some corns. Nothing daunting here really with carrots, just cut the tips off. When I cook, I always like to keep a little bowl or container on the side, and this will go into compost. Super great for my garden. First, we want to slice up the carrots. Cut it the long way, about half a centimeter thick. Roll the carrots over, so now we have a flat surface to continue cutting it into half a centimeter pieces. With each carrot slices, cut them into strips and then into cubes. Next one, we've got onions. Peel the onion skins off and into the compost box. Cut the onions straight down the middle and then the bottom tip off. Now we want to slice the onion, but not all the way through, leaving the end intact. This way, when we turn it 90 degrees, we can dice the onion super easily and evenly. It's a little tricks like this that just makes such a big difference. Try to get as close to the core or the root part, so very little is wasted. I've said it before, zucchini, literally just, we only need to trim off this much. We can keep it a little chunkier. Zucchinis do tend to get quite soft, so if you want to keep some presence of it, we can keep it a little bit chunkier. Very similar to how we cut the carrots into slices, strips, and then into cubes. We just want bigger cubes for the zucchini. Set the zucchini cubes aside while we prepare the rest. Next, some garlic. About half a head of garlic for some pungency, is that a word? And some deeper sweetness. Crush a garlic up to get some allicin enzyme going. Slice it up like what we did with the onions and into little pieces to get some garlic mince. You see all these like fancy cooking channels, every ingredient, they find a little saucer, a little container. Being very real here, home cooking, like it's so normal to just have everything on the chopping board. You just find space, you make things work. I'm not here to generate tens of hundreds of dishes. Like this is not what our home cooking is about, right? All right, that's all we need to cut, I think, so we can get it all cooking. Wait, almost. Just gotta open a tin of tuna. Tuna is a great source of protein and reasonably priced. It's shelf stable. We love making tuna sushi. Let me know in the comment section if that is something that you would like to see as a recipe. With the juice I just poured out of the tuna, do not waste it. This is very good for plants, so I'm gonna pour it in my garden. No, just kidding. Do not do that. Add it to your espresso though if you're feeling adventurous. So like I said, it's a one pot dish. So we're gonna cook everything in here. We're gonna start off with our flour roe. Measure out about 100 grams of just plain flour. Add in some neutral oil, about 50 grams. Or you can add some butter for some added flavor. I'm just keeping the recipe cheap here. Over to the stove, and yes, it's finally time to get it all cooking. Pot on medium to low heat. I like to toast the flour a little bit to bring out more of the nutty flavor. I find it adds one extra layer of complexity and makes the whole dish more interesting. Once the flour clumps that you can see here pick up some color, we can turn the heat off. You can smell the roastiness at this stage, it feels really homey. Next step, we add in our milk. It's very important to turn the heat off here and add a good amount of milk in there to drop the temperature of the pot. If the heat is still on and the pot is still super hot and we don't add enough liquid in, it will very soon boil and we end up getting a lumpy mess. Use a whisk to break up the flour to mix into the milk. Once it's at a good consistency, turn the stove back on and we can add the veggies in. Carrots will take the longest to soften, so let's do that first. Onions can go in at the same time if you want to avoid crunchy onions in the pasta. Grab a spatula and start stirring the pot. You'll find the liquid start to thicken up as it gets closer to boiling. Spatulas come in very handy to be scraping the bottom and the edges to prevent anything from burning. Get in there and get to the corners. Now is a great opportunity to season. Salt and pepper to taste. I like lots of pepper in here. It's like you find little surprises in the richness of Tuna Mornay.
Say when, sir.
No! I say when. 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 I say when.
Next up, add in some frozen corn. These are much better unit price compared to the tin ones. And then our drained tuna. Last but not the least, the zucchini we cut up earlier. Oh sorry, there's one more thing. The garlic, we cannot forget about it. There was a little bit of milk left, so I just chuck it in. Ended up adding about 1.2 to 1.3 liters of milk. I normally would cheap out and add in some water to reduce the milk needed. But this milk here has passed the best before date, so here goes nothing. Good way to use it up though. All there is left to do is cook it. Stir it until it comes to a simmer. While that is slowly bubbling away, we can load up a pot of water for the pasta. Pot on medium to high heat and bring to boil.
So to share a little secret with you, this might be the little edge that I get to be the family recipe. So to bring out more umami and more flavor out of our Tuna Mornay, guess what I'm gonna add?
Once the water is boiling, I usually do 100 grams of dry pasta per person. Set the timer on for 5 minutes. To jazz it up even more, I mix in an equal part of breadcrumbs and grated cheese. Use Parmesan or other hard, sharp cheese if you have some handy. They work wonders flavor-wise. But normal tasty cheese will do just fine. Mix it up and we are almost there. Time's up, we can get the pasta out. Into an oven-safe container and ladle a good healthy amount of our Tuna Mornay sauce. Top it with the cheesy breadcrumbs we just made. And into the oven until it turns golden and crispy. Take it out just before it burns, or else you will be pretty sad. Look at this beauty and just listen. You really can't go too fancy dishing up a homey meal like this. Even some parsley on top feels like a bit of a violation. The cost breakdown is round the screen here. The whole pot costed us just under $8 to make, which works out to be about 10 portions. Per portion plus pasta will just sneak in under $1. That is our Tuna Mornay all done right here. I'm going to dive in, give you my honest opinion. It's homey, it's hearty, nothing is offensive. Every ingredient in here should be super accessible. This is a really good meal prep go-to meal during the week. If you run out of ideas, do a batch and it's good for several meals. Super cheap meal, very easy to make. I think the additional breadcrumb here, mixing with cheese, you don't really need a lot of cheese. It's really just extracting that fat, crispify our breadcrumb and turn it golden brown. It's a really good addition, gives it that extra layer of flavor as well. Tuna Mornay, just an absolutely classic. Alright, that is all I got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to see more, I have one of these videos coming out every 2 weeks on budget cooking, trying to be as sustainable as possible. Thank you so much and I will see you next time. I think it's pretty good, but what do you reckon?
My mum made it better.
Well,